Every day, something dramatic happens in the Caribbean that affects our lives. We'll give you the details. We'll give you the facts on Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick. Here's Eddie Frederick.
So glad you can join us. Climate financing is proving to be a challenge for developing small island states. This story takes the lead in today's edition of Caribbean Perspective for Monday, 31st July 2023. Details after this important message.
The hurricane season is now upon us, so we as Caribbean people need to remember to think safety and be prepared. Avoid venturing outside during a storm or hurricane, especially if there are strong winds. Rooftops and other debris are often blown about and can cause great damage.
Welcome back. It's going to take a lot of money for developing countries like those of the Caribbean region, including St. Kitts and Nevis, to effectively respond to the situations coming as a result of climate change. Glenn Bart of SKN Newsline filed this report.
Climate financing for the purpose of mitigation and adaptation purposes has been a challenging issue for developing countries. The fact is that financial commitments agreed upon by developed countries, most of whom are the culprits of damage to the Earth's climate through industrial pollutants released into the atmosphere, have failed to honor their contributions. The pattern has been for some developed countries to find a way to delay their contributions. For example, commitments made to mobilize US $100 billion per year by 2020 was never met. It must be said that developing countries, including member states of the Caribbean community, have increased their pressure on developed countries to act quickly in the best interest of all countries. Returning recently from the EU CELAC Summit 2023, St. Kitts and Nevis' Prime Minister Dr. Terence Drew was asked if he was seeing any real change in the behavior of developed countries regarding climate financing.
There might have been some spirit of delay some time ago. But when you're in Europe and you're seeing temperatures that you never saw before in your life, I think you recognize this thing is real. In Brussels, somebody said they don't normally build houses with air conditioning. I think people up there are saying, boy, they wish they had some air conditioning now. When you see that temperature moving across the US and Europe, I think that is having a tremendous impact. They are recognizing flood in one area, extreme heat in another, fires. They are recognizing these changes are affecting them. I think that there's a renewed sense that we have to act and act now. So I see that is happening. Is it happening fast enough? Is also a question. Have some funding been released? Yes. Is it to what we should do? No. Because as you say, you go to COP, you come back, you say you're going to raise this amount of money, maybe $100 million or more, well, no, billions, and you can't raise something a quarter of it. So you say, where's the real commitment? And that is a very good question that you're asking. But I think because people are really seeing the impact of climate change and their daily lives, that they are saying, look, this is real and something has to be done.
According to Prime Minister Drew, however, the country must do all that it can to become a sustainable island state. Glenn Bart reporting for SKN Newsline.
Atlantis Resort in the Bahamas hosts a Trafficking in Persons seminar to bring awareness to human trafficking. More in this ZNS News item.
Trafficking in Persons Task Force Chair Assistant Police Superintendent Indira Bell outlined the 2021 story of two teens that found themselves as victims here at home. Hotel staffers also heard it's all about preying on the vulnerable. Now, what the task force has found, though, is that most of the traffickers are females. Now, there are key signs traffickers look for in a potential victim, like people who are submissive, have injuries, don't know their address, and who may not have access to documents like passports or work permits.
They can be the extra eyes and ears because hotels are a venue where trafficking incidents do happen. And so when they see something, they need to report it. Be a good observer. Once they have a gut feeling about something, report it to security so that the security can make contact with the police, so that that victim can be rescued. But if you see something like they popularly say in the U.S., say something.
Now, for its part, Atlantis hopes to shine a brighter light on the issue by lighting Atlantis blue on World Day Against Trafficking in Persons on Sunday. Vice President of Public Affairs and Special Projects, Vienna Gardner, says the aim is to start a conversation among guests and staffers. Staff member Perry King found the session beneficial.
We are aware of some of the vulnerabilities. We're aware of the types of environments that trafficking in persons takes place. And we wanted to ensure that our team members were sensitized to this, that our team members were aware as to what to look for, what to do if they see something that needs to be reported. And we wanted to basically step up our game to ensure that we're able to aid the Ministry of National Security's Trafficking in Persons Unit.
Anyone can be a trafficker, anyone can be a victim. We find ourselves in an environment, hospitality, where there's so many moving parts. There are many persons moving from different origins, different countries. So therefore, it makes it a wide place where anyone can take advantage of, just in point in case, the hotel. So therefore, you find it can be a business person, it can be a blue-collar worker, it can be an adult, it can also be a juvenile.
You're listening to Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick.
It's an era of criminal business operating in Trinidad and Tobago with a motto of power, profit, and prestige. This, according to Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley. He says while the police are doing their best, the criminal elements are doing theirs too. Nicole M. Romney of TV6 News has more.
As the numbers increase, the workload of the police increase exponentially. So when you get to 600 murders, just picture it. It might be 8 or 10 or 12 persons doing that killing. But the workload of the police to investigate each one just increases to the point where there's a constant stream of requirement to find out who has done that, extract that person, and then you get to a place of law where, if an I is in the wrong place, a T is crossed in the wrong angle, then they're back out on the streets.
He said crime in this country is too often politicized and referred to a document from CARICOM's Agency for Crime and Security 2013 that showed the problem is nothing new.
The criminals are supported by the facilitators, which consist of unscrupulous and corrupt professionals within key sectors of the economy.
The Prime Minister further notes the prevalence of gun crimes and the flow of firearms from the US into Trinidad and Tobago.
I don't know if you're aware that there's a legal push in the United States to export small arms and ammunition. That is what we are fighting. A manufacturer with a huge business like the United States changing its arrangement so as to export more of these things.
Dr. Rowley notes that there are currently investigations taking place and reports done on the firearms unit of the TTPS that, according to him, will make your hair stand.
The very people who were supposed to be guarding us from this outcome have been and are facilitators of it. That is the frightening thing, a breakdown of the institutional protection.
Nicole M. Romney, TV6 News.
In the meantime, why are we so concerned? This is a question asked by Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley with regard to Jack Warner's return to the political arena, given his past. Nicole M. Romney again tells us more.
Dr. Rowley minced no words in expressing how he feels about Mr. Warner being a political figure in the August local government election.
Mr. Jack Warner has been charged with serious criminal conduct, money laundering, racketeering, fraud. Charged.
He says Mr. Warner is not fit to lead.
And when Jack Warner gets up and says that he has come into the political arena because the country is going over a precipice,
The closest we ever came to a precipice here is where he took us.
Still, he says, despite all that is being said by the opposition and naysayers, he is confident that the people will give the PNM victory on August 14th.
These are the flavor of the day. Some people see it one way, some see it the other way. I tell you where the PNM lies. The PNM lies in an abiding faith in the population that the vast majority of our citizens are decent, right-thinking people, and they will do what is right for themselves and for the country.
Nicole M. Romani, TV6 News.
Police Commissioner in Jamaica has ordered the immediate suspension of Chairman of the Police Federation due to recent remarks made at a funeral. The chairman, facing controversy, directed a series of threats towards the police high command, which many perceived as an attack on their authority. Nika Lewis of CVM Live filed this report.
The interdiction comes weeks after the Police Federation chair announced the battle lines were drawn at a funeral in St. Catherine for a slain police constable this month.
That the Federation is not going to be muzzled, intimidated, nor bamboozled. We negotiate with government, not with high command. The Council of Deputies have no moral authority to tell us what to do when a court orders that we are to be paid overtime work and for service, that they should put in place a mechanism to capture hours so that the membership can be paid. I am not going to negotiate with high command. Let the records be made clear that the battle lines have been drawn.
It took some in the comment section of the CVM TV live stream by surprise, and they began asking whether this was the place or time to make these demands of the police high command. However, the tone grew more intense with the continued speech.
I also want to say to the high command that the Council of Deputies must focus on their areas assigned to them and to leave the issue of capping hours work, because this federation that I lead is not going to be submissive to the place where rank and file membership leaves the citizens of Jamaica compromised in their safety. It will never happen under my watch. Mark my word. I also want to say to High Command and to our Commissioner, God helps you if the membership is not paid their overtime come this month. I am tired of the abuse being meted out and believing that persons can call me to intimidate me. I have not seen the man nor woman that is going to lead me into fear so that I will retreat from doing what the membership have asked of me to do.
It's against this background, following an investigation that it was instructed by the police commissioner that the corporal be interdicted. This means, among other things, he will receive only 3/4 of his salary with immediate effect. The General Secretary of the Federation, Corporal Arlene McBean, confirmed the developments in a voice note sent to the members Thursday morning. Efforts to get a comment from Corporal James Thursday proved futile. The police high command have not issued or made any public remarks on the matter since. Nika Lewis, CVM Live.
Hubbard's is once again innovating the way you shop with its new online store, providing 24-hour shopping convenience. You can shop now for appliances, hardware, houseware, building material, and more. Free delivery island-wide. Start shopping now at hubbardshardware.gd. Safe, convenient, reliable.
I am Eddie Frederick. This has been Caribbean Perspective, a whole new approach to highlighting developments in the Caribbean. In the meantime, please continue to log on to CaribbeanPerspective.com for more daily news and more.